do you guys remember from the packet that you don't have to turn in, do you remember from the first day we did this? Do you remember number 7 on the first day you guys did this? What happened to number 7? It didn't connect. You drew something like a straight line, and then it ended up being like this, right? And some of you struggled with it and did over and over. And you're like, I don't get it. What happened? What happened? Well, what happened was there was something wrong. Does anybody know what was wrong with this? Right, but what caused that? Today, I'm going to teach you why this happened on page 3 of your packet. All right, so we're going to take some notes in the good old notebook that we haven't used in forever. Yeah, we're taking notes. You didn't have to take this out. Oh. All right, so, yes. It's over there. I put 2 over there yesterday. I put 2 over there yesterday. Triangle inequality. Which also, I kind of feel like, since I'm making your classwork, Orlando, let's open up the notebook. Let's write the date down. Let's put your foot down. Let's get ready for class. Since I'm making your classwork worth like 1 billion points, I should also make your homework worth 2 billion points, huh?
What? No.
Yeah.
Wait, like, do a class vote?
I am a dictator. This is not a democracy.
But what if we use a homework class? We can still get points.
No, please don't do this.
All right. So, triangle inequality. Let's write down the definition. It may or may not make sense, and then I'll make it super easy. Actually, this is actually pretty easy. The sum of the 2 smaller sides has to be bigger than the longest side. Okay, does anybody know what the word sum means in math? Yes, Ruben? Add all of it. Yeah, adding. So when you read the word sum, it means to add. When you read the word sum, it means to add. Now again, the definition might not make sense to you right away, but I will, of course, do my best to make it easy.
Doesn't quotient mean division?
Correct. Quotient means division. Does anybody know what multiplication? Multiplication. It starts with the P. No, quotient is division.
Wait,
P. Multiplication. The other word for multiplication starts with a P. Product. Product. And then, does anybody know the word for subtraction? Difference.
Take away. Oh. No.
Take away. That was in elementary. So, we actually do have to practice that. Sum, difference, quotient.
What are we doing?
We're doing this. Alright, cool. So, what does this mean? Okay, let's do a scaling obtuse triangle. What does scaling mean? No equal sides. And obtuse? Okay, so I'm going to draw a line that's pretty small. Then I'm going to make an obtuse angle off of this one. So here's my obtuse angle. Does these 2 lines, are they different sizes? Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to connect it. Now this connecting line should be longer. This connecting line should be the longest line. It might not look like it, but it is. So we're going to call the longest line C. And we're going to call the other 2 lines A and B. Does it matter which one's A, which one's B? No. Just as long as it's a shorter line. It's a shorter line. So the C is the longest line. So what my definition said is if you add the two smallest sides, the addition, the sum, the total should be bigger than your longest side. The sum should be longer than than the longest side. So the math that you need today is, can you figure out which are the two smallest numbers? Can you add? And then alligator style, is it eating the bigger number? Okay? The math is actually super easy today. Okay, so let's do a problem. The problem will say, can you create or draw a ... Can you create the following triangle? So can you create a triangle that measures 5, 7, 8 triangle? Okay, so I give you a compass. Let's pretend, right? I give you one of these, a compass, and I say, okay, draw me 5, 7, 8, right? Remember doing this? But what if I don't give you this? How can you figure out if this will create a triangle, or will you end up like, uh-oh, they don't cross, without using this? So what you do, very, very, very easy. Which two are my smallest numbers?
5 and 7.
Okay, so you're going to add the two smallest numbers. And then, be careful, tell me if it's bigger than the longest number, the biggest number. The biggest number is 8. Is it bigger? Okay, so then you write your answer underneath. What's 5 plus 7?
12.
Is 12 bigger than 8? Yeah. So remember in elementary school, like, is the alligator eating the bigger number? Yes. So the answer at the end is yes. Yes. What does yes mean? Yes, I can draw this triangle. If I actually gave you a compass, you would be able to create a triangle. It's a yes. What math do we need? You basically need to add the two smallest numbers. So that's the math. If you can add the two smallest numbers, you're in good shape. All right. I do. I don't know about you. You can continue on the same page. I, again, write a lot bigger than you guys. Okay, here's another one. Can you create a 2, 4, 9 triangle? Okay, which two numbers do I add?
2, 4.
So, Felix, we write that down. 2 plus 4. Is it greater than question mark, the biggest number? What's the biggest number? 9. Okay, what's 2 plus 4?
6.
Is the alligator, we don't change this, we do the same thing. Is the alligator eating the bigger number?
No.
So we write no. This means it's not a triangle. Not a triangle. Which, no, you always have, so this stays the same. And Jaden, if it doesn't work, if you're like, wait, it's wrong, it should be the other way, then that means that you can't create a triangle. That means if you draw it with the compass, it would end up looking like page 7, like this, like a basketball.
It's always that way?
It's always that way. It's always a greater than. It's always a greater than for these problems. All right, I got a tricky one. For you. Ready for the tricky one? Can you create ... a 5, 5, 10 triangle?
Yeah.
What do we call a triangle that's 5, 5, 10? Scalene, isosceles, or equal letter? Isosceles. Isosceles means two sides are equal. But does this exist? Can I draw it? Which two numbers do I add?
5.
Is 5 plus 5 greater than 10?
No,
It's equal to. But do we have an equal to symbol?
No.
No. So is the alligator happy? No. So that's how they trick you. It can't be equal to. It has to be bigger. So the alligator is extremely mad.
So if it's
Who is the
equal
right
to, then
hand?
it's still no.
It's still a no. Excuse me?
We still like right hand though?
Oh, sorry. I forgot to do that. You're right, Dylan. This should be 10 is greater than 10, which is not, right? Your answer is not bigger than the biggest side. So the math is figure out the smallest, add those two. Is it bigger than your biggest?
What if we had a decimal with that one?
Yeah, if it would be, for example, let's pretend, if it was 10.1, Is 10.1 bigger than 10? Yeah. So that 0.1 would make it a yes, right? But we don't have that 0.1. All right, one last tricky one. Can you create a 7, 7, 7 triangle?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're all the same angles.
Equilateral.
They're all
Yes,
the
it's an equilateral. Okay, what are my two smallest numbers?
7.
So we're going to add 7 plus 7. Is it greater than 7?
You only could add 2.
Well, it's a triangle, right? So you add the two smallest sides. In this case, 7 and 7. What's 7 plus 7?
14.
So is 14 greater than 7? Yes. And this would be an equilateral triangle. All the sides are the same. So, again, what do? You're given three numbers. Which two do I add? The smallest ones. And you're going to see if the number when you add is bigger than the biggest number. And that's it. Super, super easy today. How much is this worksheet worth? 100. But you have to get stars.
What if
If
you
you don't get a star, you don't get 100 points.
What? That's some scam.
And all you have to do is add two numbers and figure out if the alligator is eating the biggest number.
Do we do the front and back?
Yep, okay. I'm going to start you off with number 1. Okay, go ahead and start number 1 before I get situated over here.
Which one?
Number 1.
Which side?
On the front side.
Do we just put yes or no?
What do you think?
Yes, no.
Oh, the side is when you say sheet 1 on the top.
Come on, hurry up. Hurry up. Okay, number 1. Which two numbers did you add?
3.
Okay, but do you see how the 8's on the end? So kids, they mess up. They're like, oh, I have to add 3 and 9. It's like, but are those the smallest numbers? No. So be careful. They don't put them in order. You have to look at the 3. Which two are the smallest? So this is what I want to see. 3 plus 8, is it greater than 9? Then put your answer below it. What's 3 plus 8?
11.
Is 11 greater than 9?
Yeah.
Let's put all that.
That's all?
And number 7, on the bottom, a lot of words. You're finding the yes. Which one's the yes for number 7, okay? There's a lot of words. Your goal is to get one of us to star your paper.
Can we still write no for an answer?
On the bottom?
No, like for an answer, like can we write no still?
Well, yeah, they're not all yeses,
Oh,
right? Okay, let us know if you need help.
is it double
Ready to
T?
go. But if you need help, please let us know.
Do we do the back section?
Yes, of course.
Miss, we're doing both?
Yes, of course. Dude, it's not hard.
I know, but like,
It's So add the two smallest numbers, which are your two. Remember, they try to trick you. They don't put them in order. So you got to figure out which are my two smallest. They're out of order. Most times they're out of order.